Wide Eye Sports, where every play, every moment, and every decision gets broken down like never before. The lights are on, the stakes are high, and it all starts right here, right now.
Brenner Mills, Minnesota Vikings. Just want to win one before I die.
Dalton Zahlrecker, Dallas Cowboys. Just trying to earn a little respect.
Lane Cooter, the conductor of the Baker train.
Welcome into Wide Eye Sports, ladies and gentlemen. You got your boy Brenner hosting as always. You got Spoon and Dalt on the mic. Boys, say hello to the people at home watching.
Ni hao.
Hello.
So today we are going to be breaking down the best remaining free agents on the market for the NFL in 2025. We are doing this on Tuesday, March 18th. So, it's Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison Day. So if you, if you're watching this in the future and some of these guys have signed somewhere else, that's not our problem. You should have watched the video earlier. That's on you.
Also, spoiler alert, there are no good free agents left anymore. All right,
Yes,
guys,
there
that's the
are,
video.
dude.
Thanks for watching. Catch us next week.
We actually have some guys that your Cowboys could use. So
Let's
see.
We're not going to use them.
All right, so number one, I'm going off the Pro Football Focus board. So that's what I'm using as my
Yeah, don't go off your board.
my lightning rod. Well, my board is pretty damn close to the Pro Football Focus board, so suck it. It's not exactly, though. It's not exactly. They have one gentleman a little higher than I would. Number one available free agent on their board is 30-year-old wide receiver Amari Cooper. He is their number one available free agent, and I say that there's a guy that, maybe you guys could use. Reunion in Dallas? Coop reunion
I would
down
not
in,
hate that.
down
I
in the Big
wouldn't. I
D?
wouldn't hate it either. I'd be completely fine with that.
I think it'd be nice for you. I think it'd be real nice. Give Dak a familiar target back to his youthful younger days.
Mm-hmm.
Little older, but
Are there any rumors about where he's going yet that have been breaking? Like, I haven't really heard a whole
No.
lot on Amari Cooper.
nothing.
Everything's
super-
been Rodgers. Every single thing I see is Rodgers.
Dude,
Rodgers.
oh my,
Rodgers.
we'll get
Rodgers,
to that in a
Rodgers.
minute.
I know we
We'll
will,
get
but I'm just
there,
saying that
but-
that's all
oh,
I see right
God.
now.
I'm gonna deep dive. I have the insider information on that situation,
You
so
say
we'll
you
talk
do.
about it here in a little bit. But projected contract via Pro Football Focus, 2 years, $15 million a year, $30 million total, $25 million guaranteed is what they're projecting. I don't think that's a terrible deal. I think a team, that's looking to make a playoff, but like the Chargers, the Cowboys, trying to think of some other teams off the top of my head.
I'm seeing the Raiders pop up as a possible candidate because their wide receiver
I have
one
a-
is
I
Jacoby
have a-
Myers.
I have a different wide receiver that I think will end up in Las Vegas.
That's fair. I'm just saying that's what I'm not seeing. There's not a whole lot about him, but it's mostly.
All right, you ready for the number
Mostly
2
that.
free agent on the list?
Let's hear it.
Your boy, your man, Stephon Diggs
Oh,
is the number 2 available. 31 years old, 2024, he had a 79 overall Pro Football Focus grade. 2023, he had a 79, and then in 2022, it was back up at an 89. So had a drop off compared to some previous years. Nothing crazy. They project him at a 1-year, $16 million deal with fully guaranteed. So they're projecting him just a little bit over Amari, but less in years and more guaranteed per year. I don't like this. I really don't like Diggsy right now because he's post injury and he's 31 years old. Like, he just turned 31 a couple months ago, but he's 31 coming off his first major knee surgery. Like, maybe he has a good season or two left in him, maybe, but I feel like the risk is high. You're paying a guy $16 million a year. I don't know.
This is the guy you think goes to the Raiders, huh?
No, different receiver.
Well, I was just saying because he was spotted working out with Geno Smith.
With Geno, I saw that. He was spotted working out with Geno. It's, he's going to be a while before he's signed because he's not healthy yet, and he wouldn't pass a physical right now, obviously.
So I'm just looking at some of the stuff that's popping up with Stephon Diggs' name. The Packers are rumored to be involved with talking to Stephon Diggs. Dalton, there's rumor that the Cowboys could be a potential
I've seen
landing
that.
spot for Stephon Diggs.
I wouldn't hate that, man. I mean, we signed
Spoon
Greg
would run
Cook,
out and
like
buy that jersey so fast.
Well, I already have a Diggs Bills jersey, so I'll just rep that. Honestly, screw it.
Just rep that up.
I saw a guy, real quick side note, I saw a picture of a guy who had all these Rams jerseys, and he said his jersey luck was terrible. He had Todd Gurley,
Yeah, I
Cam
saw that.
Akers, Wagner, Cooper Cup, and Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
I mean, just getting
Awful
ran
luck.
through. Poor guy. All right, next up, overall ranking is 14th. He is a 29-year-old cornerback, Rasul Douglas, formerly of the Buffalo Bills. Had a bit of a down year in 2024, posting a 53.9 grade from Pro Football Focus. That ranks 102 out of 116 available cornerbacks. But in the two previous years, he had an 81, which ranked 11th, and a 71, which ranked 30th. So, bit of a down year, not too great. Overall, ranking about 124th in the quarterback group, or cornerback group. I said quarterback. He's 2 years, 13.5 million projected per year.
Yeah,
That's,
I'm seeing about 12 million a year is what he's projected, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I like him as a depth piece. I don't know if I love him at that much. I would want him at like 2 years, 22 million instead of 2 years, 26 million. He's young enough to still play. He hasn't completely lost it yet, but I do know cornerbacks are a lot like running backs, and when they drop off, when they lose their speed and they drop off, they're done. They don't come back from that kind of thing. So he did have a huge drop off. He'd be playing a big risk. I don't love him for anything more than like 10, 11 million dollars. Anything more than that, I'm out completely. And even then, I'm like, I have to need a cornerback to even go that far. So that's my thoughts on it.
Are you talking? You're talking about Rasul Douglas, right?
Yeah.
Has he already? He hasn't already signed?
No.
Then why is this article saying he's probably going to the Vikings?
I don't know. We just signed Jeff Okuda today.
Where's your source? Call your source.
I'm about to.
What article is it?
It was
'Cause I haven't seen
made
any of it.
yesterday. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell faces a royal dilemma as his talented roster grows with new signing Rasul Douglas from Bills. I haven't seen anything about it though. Could
Yeah,
be a
I
bad
haven't seen it.
source.
I am my Twitter is literally nothing but Vikings, and I got
You have nothing on Rasul
nothing on
Douglas.
that.
Maybe that's a
We
potential
signed-
landing spot then. Is the Vikings?
Oh, for sure. I think before this morning it would have been. I think because we signed Jeff Okuda today.
Yeah.
And I don't think Okuda is going to come in and start for us by any means because he's been such a bust, but he's definitely a warm body and a special teams guy. He's a very good athlete. He was former number 3 overall pick of Detroit, complete bust as far as that's concerned, but he's a great athlete, probably pretty humbled by the fact that he was the number 3 overall pick and it didn't pan out. So give him to Brian Flores and see if Flores can, do anything with him. I'm okay with it. But we just signed him today, so I don't think we'll bring in Douglas. I think we'll draft somebody, if anything else, because we have like 11 cornerbacks on the roster right now, and you only keep 6. So
Yeah.
next up, former Viking, Cam Robinson. He's left tackle, played really well last year, stepped in for a injured Christian Darrisaw, who left after the Rams game and was unfortunately hurt. But I really like how Cam Robinson played the whole season. He stepped in for an all-pro, and the offense didn't miss much of a beat. Like, he was able to hold up for the most part. Pro Football Focus didn't love him. He had a 63.2 grade, which is 53rd out of 81. But, like, watching him play every week, I never thought, like, oh, dude, there's Cam Robinson again. Like, when you don't see linemen, they're doing a good job. And maybe they didn't love him in the run game. I can try to pull up.
What's the name of I think his name's Wanye Thomas, who played for the Chiefs this past season. I will be surprised if he's on their starting roster. But I was just shocked that he wasn't one of the first to just get cut or go from.
Yeah. Cam Robinson, it was the run blocking. So he had a 70.4 pass blocking grade, which is above average. It ranked 49th out of 141 tackles, but his run blocking grade was under a 60, 59.9 to be exact, and that's 75th out of 141. So beneath the halfway point, well below average. His overall grade was 64.7, which was slightly above average for a tackle. So that's okay. He's 29, going to be 30 next year. Don't love him, don't hate him. I think he can absolutely come in for a team that's in desperate need of tackle help or even guard help if he's willing to transition this late in his career. But speaking of guards, Tevin Jenkins is still available. So unfortunately enough, he did not pan out for Chicago. Chicago, I believe, drafted him, if I remember correctly. Yes, they did. They drafted him in 2021, and he hasn't played terribly. Last year, he was 13th out of 77 guards, 14th out of 77 guards, and in 2022, he ranked 3rd out of 77 guards in Pro Football Focus. He's 27. He's projected a 3-year, $13.3 million deal or per year deal. That's $40 million total with 24 guaranteed. Let me pull up his grades here. He is he's good in both run blocking and pass blocking, but he's not great. I really don't know how he isn't already signed with the Seahawks or the Chiefs because both of them need guard help.
Well, I was going to say he did just have a visit with the Seahawks yesterday.
Yeah, I knew he had a visit, but he hasn't signed.
Yeah.
And it is blowing my mind that he is not signed to one of those two teams or even the Vikings, for God's sake. We need left guard help. I mean, I think we have a top 5 offensive line right now after the moves we've made, but we still have a weak link per se at left guard.
Yeah, see, with him, I'm seeing a bunch of teams that are interested in.
I
think. I'm seeing that he's getting interest from the Giants and the Bengals along with the Seahawks.
I don't know. He has a huge market, and I'm sure that's why he's still unsigned. He's making his decision on where he wants to go. But I don't know how, if you're Kansas City, you just gave up Joe Thuney. You need offensive line help. The Seahawks are literally they're a good team with 0 offensive line right now. That is a must-have. I don't know how you're not offering this guy 3 years, $50 million just to get it way up there above everybody else. You have plenty of cap
to bring
space.
Somebody in,
just to get a good, solid body in there and really contribute. But we'll see. We'll see. The next up on our list, Asante Samuel Jr. He's the 30th overall ranked free agent. They project him 3 years, $43.5 million total with 26.5 guaranteed. That's 14.5 per year. He had a down year last year, but he was hurt. Pardon me. He was hurt last year. 2023, he ranked 28th out of 127 cornerbacks via Pro Football Focus. And in 2022, he ranked 22nd out of 118 cornerbacks. So this guy can play at a good level. I don't know if people are weary of the injury. I think it was his shoulder, if I remember correctly, got hurt last year. So I don't know if people are worried about that. I don't think it said.
I feel like a shoulder injury, as far as a cornerback goes, is definitely not on the list of things to be worried about. Like if it was like any sort of a leg injury, like
it was a shoulder injury. But he has missed 22% of his career so far. And
well, how many years has he played?
That's what I was just about to look up. I believe he was drafted in 21. I don't know for sure. Yeah, he was drafted in 2021, so 4 years. So he misses, a fifth of the time. So every 5 years he misses a year. So
I mean, he's got some teams that are showing interest.
Breaking news. The New England Patriots have signed free agent center Garrett Bradbury, formerly of the Minnesota Vikings. He was released yesterday, and I just got a update from Bleacher Report saying Pat signed veteran center Garrett Bradbury agrees to 2-year, $12 million deal. Started all 88 games played for the Vikings. So,
how do you feel about that?
News. So cross him off the list. But back to Asante Samuel Jr. Teams are, he misses a fifth of the time, so 1 out of every 5 games, essentially. It obviously doesn't work out that way perfectly, but when you're missing 1 out of every 5 games, you're missing 3 to 4 games a year. People don't want to pay you high-end money.
Well, okay, hang on. Let's clarify because he's not missing 1 out of every 5
No,
games.
I'm saying
no,
on
he's-
average.
yeah.
That's why I said it doesn't work out that way.
Okay.
But
Like,
if you're missing,
give a guess.
if you're
Okay,
missing 3 to 4 games a year on average,
Well, I see that he's
you
had
miss 2 games here, you miss a game there, that adds up, and
Yeah, but it doesn't
teams
go
take
like
that into account.
Though. It doesn't go like that though. It goes like he was injured and he missed most of a single season. Like he probably, I don't think he missed 2 games this season, 3 games this season. I think it was he played all games first 3 seasons, and then his 4th season he was injured and he missed out on some games.
Can you see what his asking price is right now? Because it seems like it's probably pretty high.
That's what I said. About $15 million a year.
Okay. And I mean, yeah,
Which
he had a visit with the Arizona Cardinals, and it looks like the Saints are kind of interested. I don't know how the Saints would afford him with their cap
Dude,
issues, but
Seriously, I'm
But,
looking up his stats right now.
I think the Cardinals would be a good fit for him. They need some help on that defense.
So he missed 5 games his rookie year. He missed 2 games his sophomore season. He missed 1 game in 2023, and he missed almost the entire season last year. So he's missed 2 to 3 games at least outside of 1 season every year.
Okay.
So when you're being offered, that like a Byron Murphy, right? He just signed for, I think after his guarantees, it's like $18 million a year, and he just had 6 interceptions and had a really good season. Paying a guy who's equal level to that, but a little injury prone, not super injury prone, and coming off an injury to his shoulder where he missed almost a full season. Teams, he's 25 and he's missed at least 2 to 3 games every year so far. That doesn't look great when you're coming out and wanting $15 million a year when a guy who's been perfectly healthy and played at a similar level is making $18 million a year. So I think that's why he's unsigned so far. Next up, another cornerback, much older, Mike Hilton, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Pro Football Focus likes him. He was 15th out of 116 cornerbacks last year, 17th the year before that. I don't want anybody from that Bengals secondary on my team, to be completely honest. They're looking at 3 years, $9.5 million on average, so 3 years, $28 million. I think a team like the Vikings, if we hadn't signed Okuda and, you get to training camp and 2 or 3 guys go down and you're thin at corner, this is a guy you bring in mid-training camp who doesn't, you're not going to give him the wear and tear of the full training camp, but you're a guy who can come in and be smart enough to play some legitimate snaps until the team gets healthy. I think that's where he ends up in the long run. Boys, I don't know if you guys know who this is, but there's a left tackle on the market. He goes by the name Tyrone Smith. Have you ever heard of this guy? No, I'm just kidding. Tyron Smith, former Dallas Cowboy. He's 34 years old.
Now here's a guy who's injury prone.
Yeah, seriously. 2023, when he played a full season, he ranked 4th out of 81 tackles. But in 22 and 24, he did not play full season. He played about half the season. And he ranked 30th last year and 63rd in 2022 out of the 81 qualified tackles. I don't know. Tackles, we've been seeing him age pretty gracefully. I think he can come in and start somewhere. I think he can protect somebody's blind side.
If you're going off the pattern, if 2022 he played half the games, and 2023 he played all of his games, and then 2024 he played half the games. It's like, okay, well, you had some good rest here, buddy. 2025, let's see you on the field and get you a good grade going.
Fun fact about Tyron Smith: he once had a knee brace placed on his elbow because no arm brace would fit him because he's so big.
That is absolutely insane. But he's looking at about a 1 year, $8 million deal, fully guaranteed, of course.
Yeah,
he'll land somewhere.
I think 2 years would be the max I would give him.
Oh no, I wouldn't give him 2 years. I'd give him. He's 30. He's 34 years old, dude.
Derrick Henry got $8 million last year.
Derrick Henry's in all pro still.
Yeah, but you should definitely be paying Derrick Henry more money, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Like,
I thought you
especially
were arguing that Tyron Smith should get more money than Derrick Henry. I was like, bro,
no, I'm
Chill.
arguing
Chill
that
on
Tyron
that.
Smith
Chill on
is insane. That's insane because Derrick Henry had the year that he had, and he only got
That's
$8
fair.
million last year.
that's fair. Tackle market's different than running back market though, but different market. Wide receiver. I think this guy's astronomically low on Pro Football Focus's rankings. Number 44 on their rankings at 32, about to turn 33-year-old wide receiver, Keenan Allen. I mean,
He's number one on a lot of the lists that I've seen. I'm surprised.
I don't know
brought him
how
up
he's
yet.
so low. Pro Football Focus did not like him last year. He played more snaps last year than he had played in the previous 2 years by over 100. He was ranked 76 out of 133 wide receivers last year. I'm not going to say it had to do with the coaching.
I was
I
about
think
to
it
say,
had to do with the
didn't he
coaching.
play for? Who did he play for?
The Bears.
Yeah, that's right. So, Eberflus is gone. Caleb didn't have a great year. Their line didn't have a great year. It just wasn't a great year for the Bears as a whole. So
I
don't
mean,
think that's a fair
I
grade.
was told that was the greatest rookie situation any quarterback had ever had coming into the season, and nobody wanted to listen to me when I said them and Houston were just a little overhyped and we should pump the brakes. Just saying. Previous 2 years, though, 2023 and 2022, Keenan Allen was top 11 both years. He was 11th in the wide receiver rankings and 9th in the wide receiver rankings, but did have a pretty significant drop off. But when you're surrounded by a bad team, that tends to happen. He's 33. He's looking at a 2-year, $25 million deal according to PFF. I could see this as another Chargers reunion. I could see him going back to the Chargers here. I mean, that would be really good for Herb to have a nice security blanket there. I think they take the tight end in the draft too. What's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? Spoon, the Penn State tight end.
I can't think of his name right now either. But
It'll come. Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren. It just took me a second, but yeah, I think he'll sign somewhere for sure. He'll get money. He'll get some snaps. He'll produce. That's what Keenan Allen does. Great route runner. He'll play forever, at least until his body falls apart. Number 45 on the list, Russell Wilson. He's taken visits to Cleveland. He's taken visits to New York. I don't know where he's going to end up. Pro Football Focus has him at a 2-year, $50 million deal with $30 million guaranteed. It's $25 million a year. That's just under the Sammy D contract. Pro Football Focus had him at 15th out of 42 quarterbacks last year, and in 2023 they had him at 18th out of 38 quarterbacks. So obviously Pro Football Focus still thinks he's a top 20 guy. I think he can still play. I don't think he's completely cooked yet. Definitely think it's a Tennessee, New York, Pittsburgh situation. I think if he was going to be in Pittsburgh, he'd already be back there. For an improviser, mobile guy who's 36, I don't think there's a huge market for him, and I don't think he'll be able to get that $50 million. But 2 years, $20 million a year, I'm good with that if I'm the Giants.
I think he's wanting to. I mean, my opinion, I think he wants to stay in Pittsburgh. Is what it seems like. I think he's just waiting for this Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, absolutely. Why wouldn't you if you were him?
Yeah. I think you're just. I mean, I think he wants the reunion with DK, which I'd be totally fine with that. I think Steelers fans should be okay with that. Yeah, I think he's just kind of sitting around, just kind of waiting for Aaron Rodgers to figure out where he's going, and then that's whenever the offers will come pouring in for him, I believe.
That's fair. All right, number 54, playing at the ripe old age of 38 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Defensive tackle. Calais Campbell. This dude is eternal. Playing at 38 as a quarterback is like, wow, that dude's genetically
He's just trying to
superior.
get a check. He's trying to get a check is what he is. He's trying to get a backup.
I don't think it's that. I think he just loves football. Bro, do you realize how hard it is to play D tackle on your body? Like that is one of the most grueling positions in all of sports, period. That's up there with UFC fighting, right? You're in the trenches. You're banging into 300-pound dudes for 60 minutes every Sunday. You're a massive human being. He's 6'8", 350 pounds. Like, he's a massive dude, and to be playing defensive interior line at 38 and a half years old is mind-blowing to me. This dude has been playing since before Matthew Stafford was drafted, and he ranked 6th out of 118 D tackles last year. 6th. He's playing at a high level at 38.
Who do you play? Who do you play for? Who was releasing him?
The Dolphins. Play for the Dolphins.
I mean, I'm seeing that there's a couple teams that are kind of eyeing him as old as he is. Like I've been seeing his name linked to Kansas City.
Bro will be 39 by the end of next season.
Yeah.
39 playing D tackle. Aaron Rodgers at 40 is being like, he's a little too old to play. He's lost his athleticism. And Calais Campbell's, I know he's 6'8". I think he's 350. I'm looking it up here just so I know. 300. He's 300. So 6'8", 300 pounds. And he's playing at over 38 years old. What the dude?
Like you said, at a high level too.
Genetically superior individual. I wish I had his genetic. People pray for his genetic. That is fucking awesome. He's looking at a 1 year, $3 million average deal. He's going to come in and be a role player. He's not, he's playing less than, he only played 600 snaps last year. He's not playing every snap,
Yeah.
But, next up, another guard. We're almost done here. We're at 60 on the free agent list. We're going to go for the inside the top 70 that remain. And we are at 60, Brandon Scherf. He is a, 33-year-old guard who's played a lot of football in this league. He played for Jacksonville last year as well. Another guy who can succeed at a high level as a Band-Aid fix for a team, a Seattle, a New York, a Kansas City. Those teams who need a guard and need a Band-Aid for a year or need time for a young guy to develop. I think Brandon Scherf, who's looking at a 1 year, $6 million deal, can come in and do that. 61 on Pro Football Focus's list is J.K. Dobbins, who is 26 years old, played well for the Chargers last year. I don't think he's a bell cow guy. I really do think he needs to be part of a backfield. He'd be a great Thunder and Lightning guy. I don't know why he's unsigned. I think he's good. He's looking at 2 years, $7 million total. I think he's a really good running back that should be on an NFL roster somewhere.
I'm seeing his name linked to the Raiders. I think he'd be a fine fit with them. They need help.
Yeah.
So
him and Ginty.
Yeah.
Because I think he's where Ginty ends up.
I think he's going to the Bears.
The Raiders will take him at 6. The Bears won't have a chance, please God. Don't make me watch him with Ben Johnson for the next decade. I'll just walk off a bridge now. Former high draft pick Dante Fowler Jr., former Florida boy, playing at 30 years old. He was not loved by Pro Football Focus last year.
Wait, are you talking about?
Dante Fowler Jr.?
He should be
He's with
signed.
the Cowboys.
Yeah, he got signed with the Cowboys.
He got signed back with the Cowboys.
Oh, he's on their list. It is. If you click on him, he is on the Cowboys. He's on their list. That's weird.
He played for the Cowboys for a while, and then he left last year.
That's weird.
Yeah.
No, there's been a couple of those where I've seen, but I didn't know he had signed. Like Harrison Smith is still on this list. Aziz Ojari is on this list, who signed with the Eagles. I didn't know Dante Fowler had signed, though. I apologize.
Yep.
Stephon Gilmore is number 66 on this list. He is not signed, I know, and he didn't sign until training camp with the Vikings last year, so I think he'll be in a similar situation if he signs anywhere.
Probably wait till last minute.
Yeah, another one of those guys who's older, doesn't want to go through all of training camp, wants to come into a team where he can be a Band-Aid fix for a season, looking at a 1 year, $6 million deal.
Seems like Bills, a little Bills reunion maybe.
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be good. And number 70 on the list, playing at the ripe old age of 32 and a half years old, Matthew Judon. I think he is still a free. I'm double checking. Oh, nope. He signed with the Falcons. He is signed by the Falcons. They haven't updated their list. So that was the top 70. That was, and there's a name you'll notice that wasn't on this list that I think we all assumed would be on this list.
Yeah.
And it is not. He's not even on their he's not even on their free agent rankings, which is weird. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He's not even, I don't know if they just don't update it. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm looking at all their quarterbacks and they have Russ, Jameis, Joe Flacco, and Tyler Huntley are their only quarterbacks on here. Let's see if I can type in. Nope, no Rodgers. Weird. I just let's touch on the Aaron Rodgers, shall we? Let's touch on it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody else that's all they're talking about. I'd say we talk on it as well, I guess, for a few minutes.
So Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or he's going to retire. Those are the options to me. There has been a lot of steam about him coming to the Minnesota Vikings. Let me tell you about a little lady named Diana Rossini.
Oh, my God.
She works for The Athletic. She is very close with, I believe it's the CAA, which is Aaron Rodgers' agent. She is pumping out everything she is being told by Rodgers' agent, which is that the Vikings have interest. The Vikings are 50-50. They think they want Rodgers, but they're not sure. It's up to Kevin O'Connell if Rodgers comes in. You know, they're looking at all the options still. Let me ask you something. The Vikings had 5 quarterbacks in their quarterback room last year, including J.J. McCarthy. Okay, 5 quarterbacks. They have 2, Brett Ripken and J.J. McCarthy, on contract for next season. They let 3 quarterbacks walk out the door, including Sam Darnold, who they could have got for about $30 million a year. Okay. They have put a lot of capital into J.J. McCarthy. Okay. Why on earth would they waste a top 10 pick for a guy in Aaron Rodgers, who at one time was one of the best quarterbacks of all time, right? Top 5 to 10 quarterback all time, period, in his prime. He is not that guy anymore. We have not seen that version of him since 2021. That was the last time we saw.
We
that
kind of
version.
just saw the Atlanta Falcons do the same thing.
With
They brought in Kirk Cousins and then they drafted Penix.
Yeah, and how that
So I
worked
mean,
out.
it's not that crazy of
It
an
is
idea.
that. No, we all called them morons for it.
Here's my thing. Oh yeah, we did. But I mean, it's
And they-
if it's
and they
happened
are.
before. So
Why do both though?
So my thing is that I keep seeing you put like, oh, 0%, there's 0 chance the Vikings
There is
sign him. There's
0% chance.
Well, then why hasn't Rodgers already signed somewhere? The Vikings the Vikings have not told him no, obviously. They have not been
They have though. They have though.
I
They
don't
have
believe
though.
that.
Rappaport said it. Scheffner has said it. Several people have said the Vikings have 0 interest in Rodgers, but the Athletic and Diana Rossini continue to pump out. Nope, they're still mulling it over because
I
Aaron
think they are
Rodgers'
still talking
agent.
about it.
Why? What? They wouldn't need
Rodgers be
this long
waiting
to talk
so
about
long
it.
to sign somewhere if he already got told no. I don't think there is a clear cut no yet. I think it's still like I don't think it's a high chance, but I think there still is.
So you think Diana Rossini and the Athletic, the only source putting this out, is more reliable than the entire rest of the media saying, yeah, there's no steam here?
I'm just saying I don't think that Rodgers would still just be sitting here continuing to hope that the Vikings are going to sign him if it was already a clear cut no. I think
Because they're
there's still a
trying
little
to
chance. There's still
create-
some kind of chance that the Vikings. No, they're not trying. There's nothing to create.
They're
If the
trying to
Vikings
create the
already
narrative that the
if
Vikings
the
want.
Vikings already told Aaron Rodgers no. We're not signing
Hold
you.
on.
He would have already went to the Steelers or the Giants already by now.
I guess I misspoke. I don't think they have directly said, hey, yeah, Aaron, we're not going to sign you. Click.
Right.
What I think happened was they called. Aaron Rodgers' agent was like, hey, my client would love to play for you guys. What do you think? And they're like, yeah, we have, a really good situation here. We're going over all of our options. Thank you. Have a good day. Click. And the agency went, oh my God, we have a chance. They didn't say no. And the Vikings in the building had a discussion and said, do we want Rodgers? And they went, we have J.J. McCarthy. We just let Sam walk. Like, we would have, if we were uncomfortable with McCarthy as our starting quarterback, we would have went after Sam Darnold. Rodgers isn't Rodgers of years past. I think we're good. And then they just left it at that. I think we're good. They moved on. They did other things, right? And the Rodgers camp is still like sitting over there in the corner like, oh, maybe they'll call. Maybe they'll call. And they're calling Diana Rossini saying, nope, they haven't called yet. And Rossini's like, oh, that must mean they're mulling it over still. And she's pumping out stuff. And meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, the Vikings, who are moving on with their offseason, are doing other things. And there have been several reports from Scheffner, Rappaport, ESPN guys, I said Scheffner. I just did it. I just realized it.
Yep.
I did do it there. Scheffner.
Nope.
Schefter. Yes,
There you
that's what
go.
I said that time. I did say it there, though. But anyways, there have been several reports from those guys saying there is no steam and the Vikings do not want Rodgers. There has been no steam that the Vikings want Rodgers in the building. That has come out and been stated by multiple accounts, and there has been nobody that doesn't work for The Athletic that has direct source knowledge of the Vikings wanting Aaron Rodgers. And
I would love nothing more than Rodgers to go to the Vikings. I would love nothing more.
Dude, I don't,
because I know you would hate that. I know you would absolutely hate it.
He's not who he once was. If he was 2021 Aaron Rodgers, bring him in. Let's go. Let's run this shit. He's not. He's not that guy.
I mean, he played for the Jets. That's
he had a
bad
Bryce
year
Hall.
with the Jets.
He had a great line.
He had one of the.
He had
no,
Devontae
he had
Adams,
a bad offensive
Garrett
line. He
Wilson.
did not have a great offensive line.
Sir.
He didn't. I'm just saying he didn't have a great offensive line. Play calling was just abysmal. Some of the plays that were being called were just. I was sitting there watching. I was like, "That's terrible."
Play calling wasn't great, but let me be very clear about one thing. Rodgers got Mike McCarthy fired because he would walk in the huddle and just run whatever play he wanted. So Rodgers is not above changing the play call. So I don't put any stock into that. Aaron Rodgers literally got Mike McCarthy fired from Green Bay because he was like, I refuse to run the plays he's calling. That guy needs to go. I refuse to run those plays. And that was a huge thing. And then Mike McCarthy obviously now in Dallas, or was in Dallas, not now in Dallas, was in Dallas. I'm pulling up the stat here. Hold on. Let me find it here. The Jets had a 68 pass blocking grade last season, which ranked 16th, and a top 10 run blocking grade. So top half of the league in pass blocking and top 10 in the league in run blocking. That's a good offensive line as far as I'm concerned. So he had a good offensive line. He had really good offensive weapons. The defense played really good for about half the year, and he was not good until like the final 4 games. Don't want him. Don't think he's the guy. But yeah, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming. Either you got any last thoughts?
Dalton does not want to talk about Aaron Rodgers. He's over it.
I'm over it. I just want him to fucking sign somewhere. Oh my god, dude.
He's
either play or don't.
Look up the Vegas, or not the Vegas odds. I can't remember where I saw it. It was the odds on Aaron Rodgers' next team, and the Vikings have finally dipped below retirement. So he is more likely to retire than he is to play for the Vikings. So remember that. We'll see y'all next time. Love you. Like and subscribe. Peace.